It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 Pacific for about an hour. Oh, that's the wrong link. For about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We run it live on
YouTube.
Sorry, I'm trying to talk and type at the same time. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where I'm trying to get to right now. And I'm in the lobby, so now I'm going over to our show. And we take the show every once in a while and post it up on iTunes, although less and less often because that costs money and nobody really gives us any feedback from over there. But we do encourage anybody that does listen to the show now or in the future to give us some feedback. Let us know where you're listening to the show. Utilize whatever software or whatever platform you're listening to us on. It lets us know where you are. It also, hopefully, will get the show recommended to more listeners. So we always appreciate that favor. There's 4 hosts. We're all
Guys
here.
and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a seat.
There's 4 hosts. We're all here today. And we got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. It's always fun.
Yep, I'll figure it out eventually. We got Daniel jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Glad to be here with all of this newfangled technology.
And then Smeggy jumping in from Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Yep. I'm down here in Arizona, and we are about to start episode number 330. So today is Friday. We'll be talking about alternative gun topics, boat guns today, the gun biz. We'll solve that, becoming a professional gunsmith, and then we do all the stuff we normally do on a daily basis. Before we get into all that, though, we usually take a break right at the beginning, see if anything we're talking about, anything happened overnight.
Britain's election kind of went not well. Not as bad as it could have, but it didn't go as good as it could have.
Who?
Britain's. They had a general election. The Conservatives lost some seats. They still have power, but they really screwed themselves.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Didn't they, they called for like an early election or something? Like they weren't really supposed to have one right now, anyways. But they tried to gain more power, and it kind of backfired on them.
A little bit.
Yeah,
not as bad as it could have. They gained some seats in areas they didn't have them before. It's kind of like they have more support now in areas where they didn't, but they lost some support in areas where they used to. So it wasn't a great decision to have the election early.
It's kind of boggled my mind how whoever's the current executive in power can call for an impromptu election, and 2 weeks later there'll be a national election, as compared to our system, which goes like a year and a half.
Yeah, well, it's parliamentary. It's the same in Canada too. We keep hoping that idiot will call an election because he's going to get his ass booted out, but he won't. He'll go as long as he can. It's just a totally different system anyway. But yeah, you can call it, and it can be good. Sometimes you can call it when people happen to be really leaning conservatively or really leaning left, whichever party you're running for. And if you call an early election, you'll actually gain seats because right now you're really popular. Sometimes it backfires.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very consistent or fair or anything. So I didn't even know they did stuff like that. So did the liberals win, or did they want to have countries where there's like 1,000 different shades of parties?
Yeah, it's one of those countries with 1,000 different shades, really. Like there's Labor, there's Conservative, there's Progressives, there's Liberals.
Who won then?
Well, it stayed. May is still like the Conservatives still have more seats, but they don't have as many as they used to, but they don't have enough. They were hoping to get this super majority that would mean that, they didn't have to make deals with other parties in order to get the votes.
So would you say
have stuff
that we may not know who the winner was, but the clear loser was the people.
Oh yeah, it's always the people. Elections cost money, but so yeah, sad on the English people. They're already under attack, and now this.
Well, but I mean, obviously the English people voted for whoever won, so they don't think
no,
they
you see
lost
that
whether they did or not. I mean, they voted for the people they liked.
voted for the one party, right? But like the other 50 or 60% of the country voted for different groups. Like they said,
That's how
no,
elections work, though, bro. So I mean, it's like just to say the
Well, that's
people
why it
lost. I
sucks
mean,
to
the
have-
vast majority of people got the people they wanted.
that's why it sucks to have multiple parties, because then the government has to make deals. So, you have things like the conservatives making deals with the Green Party, that's all about environment, So the
Oh,
Green
that's
Party will get
awful. Hate the earth. It sucks. Let's burn it down.
Have you learned nothing
Like,
about
it might
watching
be
the
something-
American system and the disadvantages of only having two parties?
Yeah, having multiple parties sounds better than having two, but
No.
I don't think this is necessarily a freaking English political chat.
No, but yeah, we should do a political chat sometime on a one of our nighttime
It's
ones.
more governmental than political, but yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. But
Go
well, let's
Go ahead.
yeah, that was
Move
just
on with the show.
yeah. Let's get on with the show.
Well, I
So,
have something that it didn't
um,
happen overnight, but it happened earlier today. For people that are interested, I found a couple of kind of bad anti-gun articles, and I did a little live chat. Had a couple people joining me, and I basically just an angry rant. It wasn't very productive, but it made me feel better. Basically went through it and pointed out all of the stupid things people said. So you can find that over on my YouTube channel.
Where were they published?
One of them was Huffington Post, and the other one, I forget where.
But why would you read that? That's like reading the the Mao's manifesto for entertainment. It's just like it's just going to make you mad.
Right? So sometimes I have low blood pressure, so I need to raise my blood pressure, and that's when I read Mike the Gun Guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
But anyways, I just wanted to put it out there. If you want to hear a handful of people
Well,
yelling at liberals, basically, I found it entertaining and useful. But G-Wubs actually was in there and brought up the point of like, you're not really convincing anyone, and I agree with that. That wasn't my point of that particular chat.
You weren't trying to convince anyone, I think, because you're smeggy.
Yeah, I was just yelling at the choir, but that's okay. We can. Other than that, as far as news goes or whatever, I didn't see any newsworthy stuff that happened overnight that's gun related.
All right, so let's
you
just
you got
carry
anything?
on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well, then-
I don't even think.
That'll take us into the show. So we got our alternative gun topics start out today with boat guns. Boat guns. What do you need a gun in?
Is it like naval guns?
Probably not.
No, I think
that-
we're talking about
Yes, the show on Monday.
guns specifically you carry on your boat. So like a stainless steel 870, a stainless 45 or a stainless revolver or something that's not going to rust. Or maybe you're the other way and you go carry surplus, slather it in some kind of grease so it rusts slower, and I'll just, clean it once in a while, throw it in the bilge, whatever, very type gun that's always going to work, So what, like, is that what we're talking about? Is guns you would keep in your boat? Because I like the whole thing. I've been considering a boat.
Because that's what Bob needs, another vehicle.
No, I think I'd get rid of everything else, just get a sailboat and go sail in the ocean.
Okay. You got a flare
Well, if you're
gun?
sailing in the ocean, then you got to watch out for, maritime laws as far as having guns on board. Because I'm under the impression that you're not allowed to have guns if you're sailing around in the ocean.
What?
Once you get
Well, that's what I
close to countries.
What about flare guns? I would think that'd be pretty effective.
Oh no, you can get those 37 millimeter flare guns. That's considered the standard.
Right. I mean, I saw
Shoulder
some
pump.
at Walmart. It was like less than $50 for the gun and then three flares.
Oh no, they'd be fine. I mean, it's that's fine. You can have a flare gun, but I think you can have a gun too. A maritime thing that as long as it's locked up while you're in port.
I'm assuming if you're hunting dangerous game or something like that.
Well, I'm just thinking if you're in a sailboat and you're sailing through waters where there might be pirates and shit, it might be a good idea to have a shotgun and or two.
Right. Well, and that's the part where I got the whole like you can't have a gun thing, because that's exactly what happened. Is that all those cargo ships and stuff, they weren't allowed to have guns, and then they made an exception for them where they were allowed to hire like professional security, and piracy dropped by like 98%, because as soon as they realized that the boats had guns also, they just stopped trying.
Well, it was also, I mean, the people that run most boats, I wouldn't want to give them a gun. There's a reason they're sailors.
Oh, come on now. There's nothing wrong with being a sailor.
I've known quite a few, and yeah, there's a reason.
We've gone through this before, that it's a natural right to defend one's life, regardless of what your occupation is.
No, but I'm thinking, okay, if we're talking boat guns, are we talking like?
We're talking about guns on boats. That's what we're talking about.
Are you going to keep a gun on a boat? Okay. What kind of gun are you going to keep? What makes sense, right? What works? I like this idea. That's a good subject.
Well, I think
So,
you
let's
hit
say-
something right when you said the stainless steel. Like you're going to want, a rust preventative type thing, for sure. But I mean, I guess the question is, why do you have it on the boat? What are you going to run into? If you really are worried about like pirates or something, then what do you have? A rifle, a handgun, shotgun? If you're worried about animals or something, what really attacks you when you're out on a boat?
Giant squid, killer whale.
Usually,
shark.
else in
I've
another
seen all
boat.
the movies. I've seen the documentaries, right? They had this documentary about this giant shark, and it actually hunted people. It took this water skier right off the skis.
Well, let me pose a question. We all know that road rage is a real thing. Is it not reasonable to think that, okay, when there's, especially on holidays, when there's lots of pleasure craft out on the water, that there's, I'm going to call it water rage or whatever you want to call it, that could and possibly does indeed happen out in the rivers and the lakes?
Oh, it does, but those people always get caught, because there's this thing about being on a lake is you have to come out sometime. And so the rangers just wait at the launches, or the cops. Oh, here he comes.
Well, no, I understand that, but that doesn't prevent a crime that could occur out on the water because somebody loses control of their...
Yeah, he could just as easily run their boat over with his, or just hit him with an oar. I mean, that I don't think that's a thing. I think you carry the pistol for self-defense in case somebody's out there maybe robbing all these rich tourists with these fancy boats that are probably going to have jewelry and shit like that. So you want to have a handgun at that point to defend yourself for that kind of boat.
I guess in that situation, I would just have my regular carry gun on me then. Like I wouldn't have a special one for the boat, I don't think.
Well, if you spend a lot of time on a boat, say now we're talking saltwater boat, not freshwater. Freshwater is not as big a deal for rust. But saltwater?
I would want to make sure that I had a holster with positive retention.
That's true, because the only gun we know that floats is the AR-7.
I mean, you're leaning over to pick up your line out of the water, and then all this, unless you have positive retention, it could slip right out. Next thing you know, it goes down in the drink. And I'm not joking. I'm being serious.
Oh no, nothing worse than hearing that ploop. I've had that happen with like really heirloom Zippo lighters, or the glasses I needed that day. You lean over in the boat as you're reeling up a fish, and you hear a ploop. So what the fuck did I just lose? Because that kind of stuff happens. So I mean, that would suck to have it happen with a $700 handgun.
Yep.
Your favorite carry gun that you'd lovingly modified and turned into the perfect zombie apocalypse killer.
Now, if for some reason, and that's I mentioned flare guns at the beginning because I think that is a viable alternative to a center fire handgun or shotgun. If for some reason you are not allowed to or can't get one,
yeah, but you gotta
something's
really,
better than nothing.
I mean, yeah, the accuracy is like 5 to 10 feet.
Yep, but that's all you're shooting. But if somebody's attacking you, they're probably only 5 to 10 feet from you.
So you talking about shooting a flare at them, or are you talking about getting those inserts for the flare that you can shoot bullets out of?
Well, I guess either.
Yeah. Well, the inserts would be fine. They're a lot more accurate.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, and you can get those inserts like I think to 12 gauge, like from 37 millimeter to 12 gauge, and that's 12 gauge buckshot round out of one of those things. It's a single shot shotgun at that point.
Right.
But you got one shot and it's close range. So great for freshwater, like I'm saying the whole thing. And then Smeggy makes the point that, well, I'd be carrying my carry gun anyway. But some people maybe who spend a lot of time, maybe they're not going to have their carry gun on because they're wearing a Speedo or something. Maybe they want a gun they can keep in the boat. At that point, yeah, I would even on a freshwater boat go stainless steel and something you didn't really care about, or like a Glock, your basic plastic Glock. I mean, spray it with WD-40 so it's got that rust preventative on it, and stick it under your gun hole in the boat, and it'll be fine to go. Right? Got to give Glocks that. I mean, I think they're shit because they're plastic, but at the same time, I realize that they're a functional, reliable firearm with terrible trigger and weird angle. I do like the 10 millimeter one though.
Someone's talking out there on the chat. It's about a nice little 22 rifle, so you can shoot them. Get yourself a gator. Shoot them, Skeeter. Shoot them.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with having that. Like I know so many people that when they go backpacking and go canoeing up north, that's what they take with them. It's like one of those AR-7s or some kind of breakdown 22 rifle. And they just throw it in their backpack, throw that in the canoe, and away they go.
So out on the YouTube side, there's somebody mentioning what's it called? A boomstick?
Yeah, for shark. Bang stick. Yeah.
Is that a real thing then?
Oh yeah, that's a real thing. It's a 12 gauge on the end of a stick that when a shark gets too close, you can jab them and it fires a 12 gauge right into the shark.
Yeah. The guy says one-piece gator, bang stick, in several calibers. So I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess that would work for gators. I've only ever seen the shark ones, but
yeah. There's also in 50 BMG.
That'd be nasty. That'd be too fucking loud.
Well, yeah,
you don't really need
it in salt water and you've got a large shark on the end.
Maybe. But a 12 gauge just still do the same thing. Shark skull's not that thick.
Yeah, I'm no fish expert. I don't know.
You'd want to hope when you bang that shark, his head wasn't against the hull of your boat.
Yeah. Careful where you aim.
The boat started to sink.
And that's the advantage is the way that they work is, if I remember correctly, is it's the force of you making contact with the in this case a shark.
Yeah.
Is what compresses striker and then
releases
and then allows it to hit the primer.
Yep, that's exactly how it works. But I mean, that's not really a firearm on a boat. At that point, then we're going, oh well, to do like firearms on boats. How about punt guns? Would there be anything wrong with putting a punt gun on the front of your sport fisherman? And people would just go, why do you have a giant shotgun on the front of your boat? Because I can, right? Like maybe a nice 4 gauge punt gun, Got barrels that are, hey?
Someone's
Maybe
echoing.
it's me.
Well, it was
Yeah, what you
happening
got
when
there,
you were
T-Webs?
talking.
Got a lot of echo there. So found an article here from a thing called Boat Test Annual from 1997, so it's not current at all. But it says it's called Smoke on the Water, and I can drop a link in here. It was pretty simple. I just typed in firearms incidents on boats on Google, and it came up. And it's an article from a writer talking about boats or guns on boats. So he went out to the water and shot a gun, which I don't know if he'd done before. And the beginning of this article here, it talks about a bunch of examples of basically piracy. One of the ones that I read here was a guy who was out traveling in somewhere south of the United States and came out of a storm and just decided to sit there for a minute. And while he was sitting there resting after weathering a storm by himself in a sailboat, somebody came up and without any lights on. And when he figured out something was, somebody was actually paddling towards him with no lights on, he stood up and racked his shotgun, and then they turned around and left. So it's a bunch of situations like that, which I don't know. I was really looking to see how often those incidents really happen as opposed to perception. But then you talk to a guy, Detective Tony Romero of the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Department, Louisiana's Lake Pontchartrain. He says he understands why so many people carry guns, and he says it's more perception of vulnerability than reality. When you're drifting miles away from any soul on earth, you can be confronted with the idea that it's up to you to protect your family, which it kind of is. So I would say that for all those reasons, the same reasons that we carry every day anyway. We don't expect to be in a gunfight ever, let alone any particular day. You carry so that you're part of the community of people that is resistant to force, right? And when that happens, bad guys don't know who's carrying or not. So I don't like to suggest that any individual needs to carry as much as it is legal. It sounds like in most states, it just applies to CCW. So if you've got a CCW or if you got open carry laws or whatever laws are in your state, they basically apply to boats. So I think it's just that concept that as more people are carrying, violent crime is going to go down. So if you're carrying, you probably might as well just be carrying on your boat, or at least the criminals might assume that, and they're going to quit doing the weird piracy type of stuff out on boats.
Well, the other thing, I just thought of this, but when you mentioned the weather in the storm or whatever, there's very possibility you're on a boat, something happens, and your boat breaks down or whatever, and you're able to like paddle on to like a little island or something. I guess it depends on how big of like a lake you're on, or if you're out to sea or whatever. But you might need that firearm to, sustain yourself for a little bit, as far as getting some food.
I was with you.
Or even for signaling, right? I mean, you shoot a couple times in the air when a boat's going by, he's going to be like, hey, what was that noise? And then they'll see your boat crashed on the beach or whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely lakes that big here in Arizona, so there must be lakes that big other places. So you can get yourself along.
And yeah,
We're kind of surrounded by a bunch of them, so that's what I was thinking of.
If you're lost in the bush, it's not just a couple of shots. It's 3 deliberate shots in the air, and then you wait a bit.
Well,
and then it's
where you get the air part.
3 deliberate shots. You put them in the air. Like, if you're lost up anywhere here, you can put the bullets up in the air. There's no chance it's going to hit anybody.
If you're lost, then that means everyone else is not near you. You can't possibly be lost next to like a child care facility for the mute. Like
Yes,
there's no way that can happen.
You can, and you can actually up here, yes. And there is because I don't think we have a child care facility for the mute. We just make them live with everyone else.
Anyway, 3 shots is correct. In the air is reckless, but depending on where you're at, you definitely can stand for making noise. It'll depend on what we're talking about with the boat too. So this article is talking about big boats like this that drive around in the ocean, going fishing or something. You guys were talking about game and that kind of thing, but you can just go out there and shoot shotguns or whatever. They talked about some choice of guns, being able to carry something with you that's light enough that you can shoot with one hand, so you can steady yourself with your other hand, being on a boat and whatnot. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. And they also talk about going to other countries and declaring the gun, and some strategies for that, and then choice of caliber based on some of these countries don't allow military calibers. So something that's an off caliber could potentially be better if you're going to places that would restrict particular calibers.
333
And then
or,
they talk the number of states and stuff. So this is interesting. This is back from 97, and it was already talking about 27 states have concealed carry. So now we all know now that that's 50. So I would
50
assume
states. Wow, that's amazing. That's great.
I would assume that most police are probably going to be familiar with people concealed carrying on their boats now. So I think you'd carry that way, and then
Yep. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, if we want to go about like guns mounted on the boats, but that could be a whole nother 45-minute subject.
G. Webbs, that picture that you were screen sharing just a minute ago, there was a kind of a colored in map. Was that the Horn of Africa? Where it had the number of pirate incidents?
yeah, that was somewhere else. It wasn't here.
Oh. Because that's where the term Somali pirates and why Somalis aren't big into it, because just the geography of where they happen to live and the shipping lanes.
Yeah, but there has been a lot more. I think it's partially from that Somali pirate successes. There's been a lot more piracy in the island areas and stuff where, rich, dumb, buy a boat and go sail there and end up getting robbed and all kinds of shit. In this South American islands, and not just South American, but all those islands out there in the ocean. So I was thinking that'd be kind of fun to go sail out there and get attacked and shit.
I think retention lanyard. I don't know if you guys brought up retention lanyard while I was reading there, but you can get pistol retention lanyards. Those are useful as hell on a boat. And Steadily is saying a PKM on every rail, but I think that actually might not be a bad idea, especially if you've got a family type of situation. If you were to, you don't even need anything like that. You could probably just put one of those little, whatever they call that deal that an oar goes in, on a rowboat. You just set one of those up on each side of your boat, and then a kid could, what?
An oar lock. Yeah,
right.
It's just like a socket.
Put one of them on each side of your boat, and then even a kid could repel boarders with an AR or something. I would say AR is better than AK. Some people said AK, but they're metal and they rust, so ARs are aluminum.
Actually, ARs would be good. Yeah, something like that, and just like put some big drums or big magazines in them, and there's like a little saw.
And for those listeners out there, yes, Bob did just say ARs are good.
Oh, for that, I mean, really, you're just going to have to make splashes in the water. That's going to discourage any pirates, right? So it doesn't matter that it's a little tiny gopher round. They're just going, they got guns.
We do a guy out at when I was volunteering out at the county range more often, this guy was out there creating rounds for 500 Beowulf out of an AR. So it gives you the same magwell as a standard AR, but it's a big 500 diameter round. And he was shooting ceramic projectiles, and they were for Coast Guard applications for shooting into the motors of outboard motors. And there could be some application there. Somebody comes up to your big boat and water. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. There was also something in this article that made no sense to me. It's from 1997, and it was a guy who doesn't know much about guns trying to write about a subject he doesn't know much about. But he was quoting a guy who, I don't know if he quoted him wrong or what the hell, or things were just different. 97, but he said something to the effect of, I told you about that story that they talked about with the guy who just racked his shotgun. I guess that guy had an empty shotgun and he just racked it and it worked and the guy went away. But I guess the advice from that cop that he was interviewing was, if you were to be in a situation where somebody climbed up on your boat and you pointed a shotgun at him and racked it and then pointed it at him, that guy would be justified in defending his life. And I don't see where that is. You don't get to climb up on somebody's fucking boat and then say, oh, that guy's being mean to me. Like, I'm pretty sure, I thought it was naval thing where you don't board a boat. That's means for
Yeah, you're supposed to yell, "Ahoy the boat! May I board?" Otherwise, you could be a pirate. So at that point, I think by maritime law, you're allowed to shoot them off the.
That's what I figured. Sort of like maritime castle doctrine or something.
That's what I've always understood. Now, if it was like survivors from a boat you just run over that were trying to climb up in your boat because they had just been in this terrible boat crash and you just run them over. No, I don't think you could shoot them off the boarding ladder at that point.
Well, it's just I think we're digging into details or whatever. I would say if you follow the same rules as if your house or your car or you're walking down the street or whatever. Right. So if it's
I think
if they're uninvited guests and they're doing you harm or whatever, like that's
dripping water on your nice dry boat.
Okay, whatever.
All right, but I think we've solved this. Stainless steel is good.
I think we have solved it. And speaking of
lanyards, we're good.
It's time. It's time for the Tactical Pop Quiz. That's right, boys and girls, it's time for that. So those of you over on YouTube and those of you over on Gun Channels, put your cursor down in the text box, limber up your fingers. Mr. Smeggy, are you available to officiate, and have you seen the answer?
I indeed have. And we're looking
Excellent.
for the whole thing, right?
The whole thing, whole enchilada. And the question for today is, and I will read it twice, who is Carbine Williams? His full legal name. Who is Carbine Williams? His full legal name. First, middle, last.
Now, Dano, you have to tell us, did he ever convert religions in the middle of, because if we get his earlier name and his last name,
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Well, because you could have his full name before he converted.
Oh, we got it. Over on the YouTube side, Mel.
Yes.
David
YouTube
Marshall Williams.
Wow, man, that's
Yes.
YouTube won how many times?
David Marshall Williams is the answer. You said Mel was our winner today?
That's correct. Mel got it great.
So congratulations, Mel. You are our Tactical Pop Quiz winner for today. You know what to do, but just in case for future winners out there, head over to the dailygunshow.com/pop-quiz. Fill out the form. Make sure you put in that you are today's winner, and congratulations, Mel. You are today's Tactical Pop Quiz winner.
Yep. And by being the winner, that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
All right. Good work, Smeggy.
That's a good one, Smeggy.
Yep.
I've been trying to amp them up.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got kind of a poop having one day.
We just got to make Smeggy read a Breitbart article or whatever, Huffington Post article every day.
Oh yeah, I get all.
It's amazing what a Red Bull
juice is flowing
before the show starts.
Hey, Red Bull, Mountain Dew. Yeah, there you go.
I don't even have a Mountain Dew in my house.
All right. So again, thanks for everybody that listens live. We try to make it offer some things to make it interesting for the people that are joining us live, and if you listen to us after the fact, consider listening live at 7 p.m. We'll go into gun biz next, and before we do, we like to take a break between each first and second segment of the show each day and feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community focused on firearms, membership driven. With that in mind, we focus on one of the members each day. Today it's Rick. Does the show on Saturdays. Tomorrow he'll be doing Rick's Life as I See It, and joins in all the time on the live chats and posts his videos and stuff on the main live feed. So definitely take advantage of Gun Channels and everything we built there for it, or all the tools we built there. So thanks, Rick, for helping people see what you can do over there and doing good work.
Well, and that's I was
Definitely.
going to say he's very active on Every Second Matters as well, posting a lot of stuff on the state sections and everything. So I really appreciate that.
Definitely interesting guy, interesting perspective. Another nor'easter. We don't have too many nor'easters, but we do have a few, and he is one of the few but proud nor'easters.
More and more. And Rick was Rick on here the other day when we did the CNRs? We got a CNR also.
That was the other guy, Cycle Camp.
Well, okay, but he didn't come. Well, maybe he was chatting out there. But anyway, he's also got quite a few CCWs and a CNR, which I guess might be, more appealing on your Becky's. I mean, if you're going to live under a bunch of rules anyway, you might as well get permitted to be able to get guns straight to your house.
Yep. Yeah, that's Saturday, 3 p.m., Rick's Life as I See It. Just a shout out for his podcast there.
Oh, cool, man. I got to check that out. I haven't listened to it. I like it, though.
Yeah, he does a good job. He actually shows up with like topics and goes over his little list of stuff he wants to talk about.
Oh, is that a little dig, Smeggy? Huh? Just because you use a spreadsheet and I don't? Yeah. I'm still here. I put shit in.
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but if you want to get all offended about it like a little snowflake, I guess that's fine.
Oh, snowflake. Who's calling who?
Talking about the gun biz and becoming a professional gunsmith. Well, if you were in Trinidad, Colorado, you could go to that school. There's one in Prescott, Arizona. There's another one. Where's the hell's the other one? Another big one.
Now, if you took one of these courses, would a gun shop actually hire you? Like, would this be like, oh, we'll hire you?
Yeah, in my experience, gunsmiths are few and far between. There's lots of garage gunsmiths or whatever. People, I've learned, I was in the military or whatever. And, they were armorers or whatever, and now they're gunsmiths. Or maybe they were even more than an armor, but whatever. There's plenty of people who credited themselves. And then people that go to an actual accredited school and become a licensed gunsmith, I don't think they hurt for jobs unless they don't want to move, because there seems to be always look how many guns there are. We just talked about 370 million guns. Some of those break every once in a while because there's Tauruses and stuff out there. So always, it's just a matter of if the gun shop can afford them, and then if they get too big for their britches or whatever. But just like mechanics or something, or like nurses, right? You fix stuff. It's always stuff getting broke.
Oh yeah,
I know.
And it might just be like
fairly common for a gunsmith to actually service multiple gun stores.
Well, that's a great point. Exactly. They'll have their own shop, and then the stores will say, "Yeah, we do gunsmithing." They'll take the gun in, and then once a week or whatever, they go back and forth and drop off broke stuff and pick up fixed stuff, and it's all under warranty from the same guy. But it'll service a few shops.
Yeah, and that way the guy can have his own shop. He could have it at his own house. Way cooler.
To be a pro, a gunsmith is more than an armorer. An armorer could probably walk around with a satchel, and do house calls and stuff. But a gunsmith, you really need blades and machines and a mill or something. Right. Drill presses.
I think of an armorer as someone who can do things with wrenches and things like that, where a gunsmith is somebody who actually can run a lathe, can do die cutting, all the metal work that's involved, not just turning a wrench.
Yeah, but it's not a machinist. It's somebody who's skilled in guns. So there's going to be techniques and things that you do that are gun related, but then there's just the ultimate knowledge, how things work, being able to take something apart. That's also a step side of gunsmith from an armorer. Armorers know how to work on ARs or AKs maybe, or Glocks or something. Guns that like you're saying, you can take apart with a wrench and an Allen wrench and then put them back together, where gunsmiths are going to, I've got this weird lever action something. I've got this weird bolt action issue. I've got a sight issue. I've got a stock issue. They can deal with all that stuff more.
Right. Yeah, a gunsmith can make a new trigger bar or something. Like they can make parts for guns.
Right. And the thing is, they don't even need to have the lathing and stuff like that. Like that helps. but they can do it with a file in most cases. I mean, they build guns with files and
No, but they built those files back in the olden days. I don't want to expect some gunsmith to go, oh yeah, I can work on that Glock for you, and then pull out a block of steel and then start filing it. Come on.
Oh, no. I mean, but now we're talking Glocks versus, okay, you've got this old French pistol that hasn't been made in 100 years and you need a little lever bar. Well, you're not going to order the part. You need a gunsmith who's going to go, oh, okay, well, either he'll find a part off another gun that's close and then modify it, or he'll just recreate that part. And they do that with a piece of steel and some files. If it's a one-off thing, yeah, you don't use the milling machines and shit like that. That's a real gunsmith.
That's a real old guy who doesn't want to get things done on time because, yeah, you're going to use a mill to get it to like 90% or more of where it needs to be, and then maybe get it in there.
That's fine. That's a gunsmith too. But I mean, it takes the gunsmith.
Canadian gunsmith just picks up a log, piece of raw ore, and a file, and gets back with you after 3 years.
Well, yeah, it'd be an FN, but you know, hey, that's good enough.
So anyway, as far as the business thing, though, that I know of another one that will, teach you how to do it, and that'd be the Sonoran Desert Institute.
Are you a professional gunsmith after that? That's like mail ordered, I guess, or you got a degree.
I thought they did. I guess I thought they had different classes, but yeah, I thought you were. I mean, I could be wrong.
I don't know. I guess it depends on the definition. I just think there's got to be a difference in my mind from somebody who goes to like that place in Colorado or that one in Arizona and then goes there for semesters and then is in a classroom with an instructor, right? Done it a million times, where they have, I think the Colorado one we looked at it last has 70 people apply each semester and 13 or 30 get in because they only have the facility for that. So being in a classroom with 13 or 30 people, that's 13 or 30 issues that you're going to learn besides your own. I don't know. It just seems like a difference.
Yeah. Well, I think there's definitely a difference, but not everybody can always has the ability to leave their home and everything else to take the time to go to another state for that sort of training. And that's what's having something work.
That's why I want to reserve professional gunsmith for the people that take it as a professional thing, and like anyone else, they go get instruction in it and don't get some instruction on it.
Well, what I was trying to get to was with the Sonoran Desert Institute, my understanding, and I could be wrong, is each one of the projects you have to send in. Yes, you still do the milling, the machining, the dyeing, the bluing, all of that, but you have to send it in for evaluation and grading along the way. It's just not all paperwork.
Well, it's all videos, what I'm guessing. Yeah. So you're right. You could.
Well, but you're also right. You're not going to have the opportunity to learn certain things. It's like questions from other students that you may not even have thought of that may be asked in class. Yeah, you're going to miss out on those sorts of things. So I don't think you're going to get necessarily the same depth of knowledge and experience, but I think it's something that's certainly worthwhile if it's something you're considering doing.
Sure. And like you say, not everyone has the ability to get to one, and then you're still better off than the people that didn't learn anything in your area. Or if you're a bunch of old guys who have history, life experience with it, you got to do something to catch up.
But yeah, you got to look at, and it also might be those old guys with an apprentice. And there's lots of old gunsmiths I know now, well, at least up here in Canada, have taken on like 20, 30 something guys with an interest in guns and are teaching them their shit, right? Like almost every old gun shop I go to now, they've always got a young guy working in the back. It's kind of neat. It's like an apprenticeship they're just doing. I think that's it. That can be just as important as getting a degree.
And I think that's, once you get a degree, then you go become an apprentice, right? A degree just means, okay, I have a reason to sit here and not waste your time, expert. So now teach me the real skills. And that's where that Sonoran thing could be helpful. If you can use that bit of credential to get yourself in and learn from a real gunsmith, which, everybody else in town just asked him for the job. That guy could see as real advantage. But I think I would
Right.
want to. There's no way I'm just going to go to school, or at least I would trust my gun to somebody who had apprenticed rather than someone who just even going to school. You just get a degree. You're not an expert. You've just experienced a bunch of stuff. You haven't you experienced the way it happens. You haven't experienced all the things that happen when it goes wrong, and that's what an expert does, right? That's what somebody who's done it a million times. Anybody can make a recipe. A baker knows how to get up at 6 a.m. and have product ready at 8 a.m. You know what I mean? Anybody can make cookies, but they can make cookies every single day on time.
Right.
So,
and then when they're out of so-and-so, they know how to substitute in something else or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Like Bob was saying.
Same thing.
This part broke, but I got 4 guns.
Take the thing apart and the spring breaks in half or something. Like, oh crap, got one of these ones.
Yeah, I can just shorten this and put a new. Yeah, I mean, people don't understand that about springs. If it's the same tension, it doesn't matter if it's longer. If you just clip it off and put a clip in the end, it's exactly the same spring. Got the same tension. You know, it's just shorter now.
Understood it.
Sure, if you say so. It's not really how springs work, but okay.
We got some
Anyways,
coming in from the YouTube side.
That might be full of shit. That's always possible.
All right, so instead of they saying armor is upkeep and maintain, that's a good way to look at it too. And then Bandito said everybody's got at least one of those guys in a town that are like Bert from Tremors. I guess that's true.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Is he saying somebody who's like, knowledgeable who you can go to for reference or something? Mel is saying Andrew's Armory does that stuff. They do. I'm pretty sure they do all that gunsmithing stuff right there. And instead of they also said gunsmith's favorite present, police evidence guns. That could be true. That's another reason I don't like those quote unquote buybacks, right? All those guns that everybody looks, they're just garbage guns anyway. Yeah, give those to kids. Let them kids take them apart and fix them. Let them let people go into gunsmith school have them and practice on them. Build new guns.
right. I believe that's what.
All those cheap Saturday night special turn-in guns to kids to play with and take apart and put back together.
Yeah,
that's just funny. That's just. I don't have a problem with it because, most of the kids I grew up with, we'd be like, "Oh, fucking A, man, these are going to be great for trying to take out gophers."
Yeah, I don't know what Bob's on, but yeah. So I don't think that's a crazy idea. I've been playing with guns since I was a little kid. I like broken guns. And then Mel also said Jesse James firearms, one of a kind. Yeah, so Jesse James, that's a good example. Somebody who's kind of learned on his own, I guess, right? He just was a competent machinist, and then decided to go to guns. So,
well,
he did choppers. He did chopper, like
I
really.
don't know enough about his product line, but my understanding was that the only thing that's truly unique is the outside design, not really the innards.
well,
Like
then
the
I
action is an
agree.
example.
I agree. Then you don't know enough about his product line. The man doesn't start with like a Taurus and then engraves it. He starts with bare metal stock and then builds it from the ground up as a gun, the same way he did motorcycles. So,
Right. Now, he might borrow, like, the Browning mechanism for the trigger or some, he might borrow some ideas of how a gun works, but, really, a lot of guns are very similar, so...
Everybody has to borrow from John Browning because he came up with the design that all semi-automatic pistols basically work on. So it's like,
There are other actions, Bob. That's not the
there
only
are,
one.
but none work as well. I mean, it's the perfect action. So
I guess the question I have is he machining the barrels?
Yeah, he
mean,
makes everything. He grabs a chunk of steel and he makes a gun. Or whatever material he's making it out of.
From front sight to grip and everything in between.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, he makes 100% of everything. I don't know that for sure, but
yeah.
Okay.
basically he does everything. He's not just putting shit together that looks good.
I'm pretty sure that's why he's so famous, Dano, is like he's a guy who, like, he used to make his motorcycles damn near from scratch, except he'd always put some kind of S&S motor in it usually, but or maybe that was the other chopper show. But anyway, I've run into him and just like give him a nod and shit just because I know, oh, it's Jesse James at shot and shit like that, and it's like I think he's really trying to make a name for himself. I mean, he did it with the motorcycles and went, oh, look at that. And then he married some Hollywood starlet and went, hey, look at that. And then he got divorced because he was banging some porn star. So, hey, look at that.
All right. Well, he makes good guns.
Now he's making really great.
Makes his own Damascus. So they're definitely works of art. But somebody who didn't go to gunsmithing school, that's just somebody who started doing it. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're doomed if you just.
Yeah. And he paid attention to what worked, right? He knew the metal. He learned the technology.
So you're saying he's not exactly the Orange County choppers where everything is bought?
That is correct. And they make a lot of their own stuff too. But anyways, yes, he makes his own stuff. Well, yeah, let's just go with that.
Gas tanks.
Okay.
All right. So that's the gun business. You're welcome. We will move on to the gun shop of the day. So Rick, who is our featured member of the day, sent this one into our email, which is dailygunshow@gmail.com. And thanks for doing that, Rick. We do like to feature a different gun shop every single day. One of the reasons we do a daily show is so that we have enough shows to do that. And we really like to feature shops that you've visited or you think are cool. So Rick sent us in this link, and it's called Mid-State Gun Company. My screen share is working, I hope.
Yep.
Like it's in Rhode Island where he is, and kind of a cool looking website for sure. Got their hours.
I like
on there.
that. The 5-finger discount card. Wonder what that's all about.
Pay for 4 range visits to get the 5th one free. Looks like a pretty nice shop. Thompson over there on the wall. Weird ass.
They shake your hand. That's nice.
Yeah. Look at
you got like any shop that's got a Thompson on the wall is cool.
Looks like the ranges are nice. I always like it when they're these tracks as opposed to the cables, so that your targets stay a little more sturdy. Looks like it's fairly new too. I mean, there are some holes and stuff, but actually most of that is just screws holding up the soundboards. So either they change out those soundboards often, or this is a fairly new range. Does it say?
Yeah, I think so.
A range? No, it doesn't. They also might just be standing there watching so that people don't shoot it. That's interesting. How often do you see rifles with the muzzle up? That is interesting. I don't see that very often, at least not at an angle like that, unless they're in a rack, usually horizontal.
Yeah, it takes up less space that way, though, I think, huh?
No, it takes up a lot more. That's what I'm thinking they're doing. So see how they got the mags in there? They're trying to keep 4 ARs take up a 6-foot area of real estate there. Perhaps. I don't know.
Spread them out. Well, it looks better, and I mean, you can't really afford to have that much stock just to cover your walls at that angle. So, hey,
I mean, if you stacked all these in a rack, they would take one thing of stuff. So this is to get them out there so you can see them. It looks like they got an SKS over there, some kind of Enfield looking thing, some other kind of World War II guns, maybe a little single barrel shotgun or something, scoped rifles. Pretty good selection for being what I would have thought were Rhode Island. These are nicer looking shops than California. Val, bunch of AKs, folding stocks, pistol grips. Like they're doing right.
It's nice job.
Looks like it's made out of a house, so they're always good. And
Yep. So just drive to the middle of your state, whatever state you're in. Drive to the middle and go to Mid-State Gun Shop.
Mm-hmm. That would be kind of neat to do a chain where just in the center of each state, there's that same chain. Call it Mid-State. Anyway, that's the gun shop of the day.
That little tiny town. It's just like we're the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever is in the middle.
How much do you get off? How much of a discount do you get for that 5-finger discount thing?
Well, it's
4 range trips, you get a 5th one free.
Yeah, so you get a free range trip, Daniel. That's the thing. So whatever you pay for the range normally, yeah, it's a good deal. I'd rather just be a yearly member and pay.
So that can take us into the, I don't know, movie of the day. Anybody seen this movie? Crank?
Oh, Jason Statham, and he's somebody stole something out of his heart, and he's got to have a dose of adrenaline, whether he gets like just scared or drugs or whatever. He's just got to get this big dose of crank, crank up his adrenal system so he stays alive.
I think it was the first movie film like that where it was like, boom, it's on the clock and there's so much time. I think it shows him dying at the end, and then it starts over from like, what do they call that? Flashback or whatever. And then something happens. He's got like hours to live or something. And like Bob's saying, he has to keep his adrenaline up. So he does all these crazy things to try to keep his adrenaline spike, because he'll keep like logging out and then get his adrenaline up and run around a little bit and accomplish a little bit more of his goal. And then at the end, it comes back to the beginning. I thought it was kind of neat, but it was also super fast and right, take it easy down. But it was super fast, and I only watched it the one time, I think. Have you guys seen it? Do you like it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I liked it.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. It was like the camera work and stuff was, pretty fast, and, it's kind of shaky running around or whatever, but.
And there was a number. Yeah, that's true. Now, which one is the one where it's got the blonde in the crowded area? Is that one?
Yeah. I thought that was the second one. I thought it was a brunette in the first one.
Well, that's the one part I remember the most of those movies.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. But anyway, it was a good gun movie. What kind of guns did he use, though?
I only seen it.
We have that.
Probably a bunch.
We have that.
It was the kind of movie where he just drops your gun, runs around, picks up the next guy's gun, drops it, runs around, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was always trading out with the bad guys. Use some martial arts and take the gun from them and
shoot the next 4 guys, and then do some more martial arts and take the next guy's gun and shoot some more guys. It's crazy. But yeah, good movie. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. It's entertaining. I wouldn't pick it like going, gee, I gotta watch this movie. It'd be like, oh, this is on. Well, I got nothing to do for a couple hours. But 2 thumbs up.
I'm gonna give it 1 because I'm in sort of the same boat. But whenever it is on, I'm like, yeah, I could do something else. So I never actually have watched it again. But it was okay. It was good if you're like probably 17 years old.
Yeah, I'm just going to the see what kind of guns were in there.
You actually said you'd seen this one, right?
Yeah, I have seen this one.
Holy crap. That's almost like Dano seeing a movie.
Yeah. It's I guess the Springfield XD was his main firearm throughout the movie.
Ooh.
And there was a Car K9, a SIG P226, Glock 17, Glock 17 converted to full auto, FN57, Beretta 92, Smith & Wesson Model 500.
So actually quite a few guns.
Yeah, Smith & Wesson 686, Desert Eagle. Oh, now we're getting some rifles. The H&K UMP 45, the MP5A3, MP5A4, an Uzi, a mini Uzi, AKMS, AKMSU, M14A1, double-barreled shotgun, Serbu Super Shorty, Mossberg 500, Mossberg 590, an M500 bullpup.
Make Matt happy.
Some
Mossberg in there.
So there you go. Yeah, that's a decent selection of guns, and that's you know, when you see, whenever they talk about the guns, they do a screen capture or whatever. And there's some pretty good like close-ups of the guns too. Like you can really tell what they are.
Well, you gotta just think, you know, the prop company supplying the guns was probably just giggling away to itself because they get like money for every gun they supply, right? So if it's like 10 of one gun, they don't get as much money as when it's 10 different guns. So they're probably just like, that'd be a good job to be a prop company supplying guns to movies. Think about that. You get to play with all kinds of guns. They only have to be like, I guess they'd always have to be non-functioning. Couldn't trust an
that's
actor.
true. No, I think you get functioning guns. You just load them up with blanks.
I don't know, man.
But anyways, yeah, pretty
One
good
that really-
selection of different stuff. And like I said, I like the movie. I will agree it's not one you got to run out and see right away or whatever. But unlike G-Webs, I mean, if I'm flipping channels or something, I might stop on it. Got to be in that mood though. You just you know, it's not like the plot's all that exciting or that complicated or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a mind-numbing action movie, but yeah, those are fun sometimes.
Sitting around having a couple of beer, trying to relax. Good movie. Yeah, for that.
I don't know. I think
That's
that
right.
pushes you out a little bit. It's a little too high-strung.
No, it's not even exciting. It's too,
That's why I say it's somebody that wants like a movie that's super fast or whatever because they're impatient.
Yeah, he's like jumping around, camera angles, jump around all over the place. But I actually saw it in theaters. It was pretty good on a big screen.
So are you giving it
It was one of
two?
those, hey, we're bored Friday night. What's on?
Is it hard thumbs up, semi-flaccid, or droopy thumbs up, or just one thumb up?
I don't like your scale, but I'll give it a couple thumbs up.
I know. I just had to hear the response. It was too funny.
Okie dokie then.
Today we like to look at a little bit of gun history, so I'm looking at our source here. Looks like the Civil War broke out in Martinique, where the hell that is, in 1790. Bulgaria's government was overthrown by the military today in 1923. Goddard patented the first rocket-fueled aircraft in 1931. Let's see. 1951, after several unsuccessful attacks on French colonial troops, the North Vietnamese general ordered the Viet Minh to withdraw from the Red River Delta. What the hell that is. The McCarthy hearings. No, that's nothing. They were just happening. The first ballistic missile carrying submarine, the USS George Washington, was launched today in 1959. And it was in 1986 today that NASA published the report on the Challenger accident. So I don't know whether that relates to the accident or not, but there you go. Nobody of gun significance was born today. However, Les Paul, American guitarist and the guy who invented the electronic guitar, was born today in 1915.
I don't know, just imagine if Les Paul had put his genius towards firearms, firing pistols right now, all of us, and we just wouldn't think anything of it.
It's also Robert McNamara, the U.S. Secretary of Defense under Kennedy and Johnson. It's his birthday. Anyway, kind of a boring day for history, I guess. Nothing that good. Gun related at least. And
Gun of the day?
yeah, I guess we're going to do the last Kimber for this week.
You need a website. Why not do it yourself?
And I just wait for the stupid ad to finish. And I will piss Dan off immensely by going over here and find and stretch.
This time we're looking at the Grand Raptor. Full size 5-inch.
You didn't just save that code from last time?
That was so
where
funny.
Where am I going to save it? I can just grab it off the internet like this every time.
It's got the rosewood
Yeah,
grip.
but can't you just like,
It's got sort of the
I don't know, just like save it into a text file on your desktop or something?
Yeah, it actually takes longer to open on my desktop than it would. But yeah, I know what you're
Okay. Well, yeah, do whatever you want. I'm just saying. I
But,
don't. Unlike Dano, I really don't care what you do.
What? Dano cares immensely. What are you talking about?
That's why I said, unlike Dano, I don't
Oh.
care what you do.
Oh, okay. Unlike. I didn't hear the unlike either, Smeggy.
Yeah.
Must be that accent.
I thought you said I'm like Dano. So anyway, this is the Grand Raptor, and now you saw a little bit behind the scenes. A long time ago, Google didn't. Well, they quit liking Microsoft, so anything filmed in Microsoft got squished. I have to add that code so it comes back to normal, and I've got thousands of videos like that. So
For 1911s.
anyway, this is the Grand Raptor. I don't know. This is what Kimber's, I guess, make Kimbers for. So this has got engraving pretty much everywhere you can put it. Reasonably, I don't know. On a 1911. I do like the grips. They're kind of like dragon scales, except they're going the wrong way. They're going up instead of down. But that's about as much as I like about this gun. It's got
I don't like that checkering. That's weird on the slide.
I like it.
It's the checkering, the Desert Eagle or this Desert Warrior, but it's on the slide instead of the grips. So, and it's going the wrong way. It's going parallel to the frame, so it doesn't, or the slide doesn't help you. It's got those weird scallops on top. It's supposed to get rid of glare. It's got that crazy freaking target sight with the weird dash minus sign underneath of a dot. I don't know what the hell that system is. And then it's got all this.
Pretty.
Well, it's obviously made for Bob. I think it is not good looking, personally. What do we get from Smeggy, and then what do we get from the audience?
What caliber?
It's a 1911.
Oh, it's a 45. Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was a 10.
No, I don't even know if they
Oh,
make
well.
it. If they do, it would have it in the name or something.
Well, 45 would be okay. I mean, it's better than a, 9, but more 9s are better than the. How many rounds does it hold?
It's a 1911, Bob.
So it holds
So,
7.
It just has a bunch of fancy engravings on it from the factory, but otherwise it's a standard 1911 from Kimber, full size. I don't know what 2 is. They might have done a Raptor 1. I don't think 2 means small or anything. And basically, Kimber just makes it. They put a new accessory on it, and then now it's a new model. So oh, we didn't put the ambi safety on this one, so now it's a Raptish, or I don't know, come up with some different name and then give it. Anyway, what are we seeing in the comments? People liking this gun?
I don't, I
Dudley
like
says
it.
I'm
I
not a
still think it's
1911 guy, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And other people are talking about $25 an hour. No idea what you're talking about there. But anyways, I personally don't like it. There's something about those serrations that I don't like. Like you said, they're kind of going the wrong way or whatever, so they just look out of place.
Yeah, if they were going the other way, it'd be better.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
I'm just thinking, I mean, for the price point, I might as well just buy like a standard government model, take a file to it, and make grooves in it, and go, oh, it's the same thing now. I put fancy grips on it. It's got all these like file marks to make grooves.
Yep, I'm sure that's exactly it.
You save a lot of money.
Oh, I'll bet, yeah. You find some old
What
World
were
War
we
I
talking about
one that
earlier? The
doesn't
people
need-
that say they're gunsmiths, but really they're just people that crank on stuff with a file. That's
you don't
basically what
wanna-
Bob
you
just
don't
said he wants to do. And then
I
say
did
he has a
some at-
Kimber.
I did some gunsmithing at 16 on a single shot 22 rifle. I'm still embarrassed about. Thankfully, I've got the rifle back so I can like burn the stock and stuff.
So we're going to be doing our scheduling show tomorrow. Anybody who's a Patreon member of our show or a supporter of our show can join us. And we encourage you, if you've got, especially people that are already creating content, if you've got some video of a gun that you've done a review on, like we've done this week with the Kimbers, I just went to my Kimber playlist and grabbed 5 videos and put them in here. So if you've got some videos you'd like to suggest and offer to the show to use as our gun of the days, we definitely encourage you to do that. I'm not going to say we're going to watch your whole video, even if it's just 2 minutes long, but we'll thumb through it like we do with mine here and use it as a something to talk about for the gun of the day. So if you want to participate in the show that way and promote your channel a bit, we're happy to do that. It's one of the reasons we do the show. So we're encouraging you to either drop by tomorrow for the scheduling show or send us an email. It's dailygunshow@gmail.com. Let's see. We also want to, I think we're about ready to wrap it up, right? That's about it. Let's think about doing a weekly wrap, unless you guys want to do that. But as far as the show segments, I think we're about done. So we want to encourage everybody to use the comments and the likes on the gear websites where we have our store. A lot of people who we're talking to now, the people that are listening to us live, a couple of 3 dozen people listening to us live right now. I'm sure most of you, I'm just assuming a lot of you are have bought stuff at our gear website store before. I would ask that even if you don't go over there to buy anything, if you'd go over and check it out, maybe share a product here and there on Facebook once in a while, and then use the comments. Let me know, let us know about the products, how you liked them. Let future buyers know what you did with it. If you used it on a toolbox or someplace cool that you want to post a picture or something, I'm sure it'll let you do that. And or link to a picture or something if it won't, let you just include it. But we really would appreciate that. Just like we say, the comments and things are so beneficial on these platforms that we do our show on. The store itself, when somebody's come along to make it a purchase decision, they can see a bunch of other people are happy with the store and that we ship usually on the same day. It's comments and stuff coming from customers that helps. I could never say some of that stuff. It has to come from a customer. So we wanted to throw the word out there for anybody that's interested. Please take advantage of that. It really would help us out. We do the Patreon support to keep the show running. You can see we post on there how much money we're bringing in. It's not very much money. Have we ever divided it up to the day? If we do 20 shows, I think we're bringing in $80. So we're bringing in about $4 a day. So it's not like we're getting. So we do like to. We would like to grow the show. So I'll quit bitching. Looks like everybody's leaving. So with that, I don't know.
Well, something real quick here though, because Studley brought it up, and I believe I saw this earlier today as well. That if you order something on gear websites today, being Friday, you're going to toss in a free patch, right? I was hoping he'd say yes, but I saw that earlier. So
I had to walk away from the computer here, but yeah, free patch Friday, and everything. Any order over $25 gets a bonus patch. Any order on Friday gets a bonus patch. So there's also coupon codes out there, and we mix it all up. So take advantage of all that stuff. It really does keep the show and all our other projects going.
I guess on that note, if nobody else has anything else, I'm vacationing and camping right now, so you have to give me a little leeway. Our quote today is
no, we're not ending the show, Bob. So hold off. I'm running back and forth between two things here, but we still have the week.
Well, I thought we were at the end of the show. That's why,
Well, that's why I stopped you, because we're not stopping the show right this second. We have tonight on Gun Show.
Oh my God. Okay. You just say, oh, hang on, I got something.
Okay, well, I guess I can do tonight on Gun Channels real quick since you guys are running around or whatever. But there'll be Edge of the Week is on tonight. I'm not sure if Heavy's doing a show today or not. I guess I'm not very good at doing this. I'm not like Dano. I don't pull the schedule up, so I'm just trying to go off memory. But anyway, so you got there'll at least be Edge. I'm not sure about Heavy. Lobbies and stuff, I'm sure, later. And then also
you might as well just say there'll be stuff to watch.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say. So anyways, there's some other stuff that I do know about, which is Saturday morning. Travis has Caliber Corner at 9 o'clock Saturday morning Eastern time. And then Rick's Life as I See It at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And then Matt does like his question and answer thing Sunday morning, coffee with Matt or Coffee and Guns or whatever the hell it's called. And I think that wraps up the whole weekend.
Let's see if G, you got anything else?
We have a tactical quiz on Saturdays, and we're doing.
Geez, I can't believe I've got tactical quiz. Yeah, tactical quiz
tomorrow.
And our planning show for Patreons. Yep.
Really slipping, Snaggy.
I am. Well, I was just trying to help out because I wasn't sure if G-Webs was busy doing other stuff. I'm trying to do some part that contributes to the show.
Yeah. You can't read off the script. You have to actually. Your memory is not good enough to memorize the script, especially with the new changes and stuff.
That is true. But if anyone's interested, they can always head over to gunchannels.com, and there's a little thing up at the top when you hit live shows, you can get live show schedule, and that has a lot of the shows that are on Gun Channels. So you can always double check me and just check for yourself. I'm like the
true
Rainbow guy. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up yourself.
Which yourself is a good thing to say, I've always thought. So if we're done,
All right.
I don't know,
Well,
can I
finish it.
can
So
I
you
finish it?
do it, Bob.
Thanks everybody for watching and thumbsing up and subscribing. I'll say that before Bob gets it in.
All right. Well, I'm going to end it. So anyway, this quote is by, well, a pretty good musician. But his name's Ted Nugent. And I know, but I like him. To my mind, it is wholly irresponsible to go into the world incapable of preventing violence, injury, crime, and death. How feeble is the mindset to accept defenselessness? How unnatural? How cheap? How cowardly? How pathetic? Let's end the week on that cheery note. And we'll see you guys on Monday. But, you know, we're going to have shows going this weekend. So you might catch us there. Anyway, see
You might
tomorrow.
catch us on our scheduling show tomorrow. So thanks everybody for joining.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Sorry.
Guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.